Disclaimer. This video is for entertainment and informational purposes only. The views and opinions expressed in this video are those of the creator and do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization. The creator of this video is not responsible for any errors or omissions, or for any actions taken based on the information presented in this video. Viewer discretion is advised. In the previous episode, we delved into Oppenheimer's need to clarify his affiliations with the Communist Party and answer inquiries from congressional members. Despite demands for his resignation, Oppenheimer opted not to step down and instead underwent a hearing to address the allegations. However, these individuals continued to accuse him, and they persisted in their attacks. Many of these accusers have since gained notoriety, especially among right-wing politicians or officials in the United States. Throughout history, numerous individuals have faced similar accusations. Today, we can find all these accusations and allegations against Oppenheimer documented on English Wikipedia or in dedicated articles about Oppenheimer. The identities of those who made the accusations have been made public. Due to the sensational nature of these charges, even his past activities, such as the 1954 hearing, focused on Oppenheimer's previous associations with the Communist Party and his connections to scientists or Communist Party members suspected of disloyalty to the United States during the Manhattan Project. These accusations targeted all scientists associated with the Communist Party, exposing their connections to the public. However, the textual records of this hearing were not released by the U.S. Department of Energy until October 2014. The textual records of this hearing were released 60 years after the hearing took place. During the hearing, various matters were discussed, including accusations made by some individuals, and even cases of mistaken identity. Some individuals claimed to have accused Oppenheimer, but in reality, it was other people who had made the actual accusations against him. Additionally, there were mentions of Oppenheimer himself being falsely implicated as one of the accusers. Overall, it was a highly complex situation as it involved many of Oppenheimer's colleagues at the time and touched upon left-wing issues. In fact, all those involved in these matters voluntarily testified during the hearing. However, due to the outcome, many individuals in the scientific community consider Oppenheimer to have been a major victim of the McCarthy era. There are even some who believe that Oppenheimer was targeted by those so-called accusers, who were perceived as adversaries by right-wing individuals. As a result, his situation was quite tragic. Later, he moved to an island in the United States Virgin Islands and lived there for several months, where he built a small cottage and spent time with his wife and daughter. During this period, he maintained a significant agreement regarding the atomic bomb. Afterwards, Oppenheimer traveled through Europe and Japan, continuing his scientific research work. In the 1950s and early 1960s, he received the Legion of Honor from France, and was elected as a foreign member of the Royal Society in the United Kingdom in 1962. These honors and awards can be seen as a form of exoneration and recognition, which came around the time of President John F. Kennedy. However, his security clearance was not reinstated at that time and only saw some changes in the 1960s. He also remained unable to offer official policy advice. When Oppenheimer received the Fermi Award, he expressed to President Lyndon B. Johnson that granting the award required a great deal of tolerance and courage. In reality, these symbolic honors did not fully reverse his situation. He still faced restrictions on his security clearance and was unable to provide official policy advice. The $50,000 prize money he received was tax-free. But it did generate some dissatisfaction among certain right-leaning members of Congress, particularly those with McCarthyist tendencies. However, it was not until after the assassination of President Kennedy that Jacqueline Kennedy, the widow of John F. Kennedy, met with Oppenheimer at the White House and expressed her desire to see him receive the Fermi Award. This was also due to Kennedy's previous support when he was a senator and cast a crucial vote that prevented Lewis Strauss, a staunch opponent of Oppenheimer, from becoming the Secretary of Commerce, effectively ending Strauss's political career. It is clear that Kennedy had been quietly assisting Oppenheimer. In 1965, Oppenheimer was diagnosed with throat cancer, likely due to his heavy smoking habit. He underwent chemotherapy and radiation treatment, but unfortunately, he lapsed into a coma on February 15, 1967. He passed away on February 18, 1967, in Princeton, New Jersey. Although he was 62 at the time, he was not considered old. A week later, a memorial service for Oppenheimer was held in a building on the campus of Princeton University, attended by 600 people. Afterward, his body was cremated, and his wife, Catherine, took his ashes back to the small island where they had lived, right by the beach in front of their residence. His ashes were then returned to the sea. His wife passed away in 1972 at the age of 62 due to intestinal infection caused by lung problems. In reality, his family situation was not good. He previously owned a farm, which was inherited by his son, while the beach cottage on St. John Island was inherited by his daughter. Each had their own lives. However, his daughter faced tragedy when she took her own life by hanging in that cottage in 1977 at the age of 32. You can imagine the extent of the damage caused to her life by the right-wing political persecution, particularly the moral judgment, during that time. As a scientist, Oppenheimer always prioritized human ethics and continuously expressed his views in debates, opposing the continued development of such destructive atomic weapons in the world. You can imagine how lonely he must have felt when facing the societal atmosphere as a whole. So you can see that these people, although we now know a lot about them, in their own time or the era of these individuals, the conspiracy theories that we mention were actually composed of these people, including those we now refer to as military-industrial complex figures, and even the so-called deep state personnel we mention today. They were Oppenheimer's adversaries. Thank you for joining us in this series on J. Robert Oppenheimer and the Manhattan Project. We explored the fascinating life of Oppenheimer, his pivotal role in the development of atomic weapons, and the complex ethical and political challenges he faced. Through his story, we gained insights into the profound impact of scientific advancements on society and the delicate balance between scientific progress and moral responsibility. Oppenheimer's journey serves as a reminder of the enduring consequences of our actions and the critical importance of thoughtful deliberation when wielding the power of knowledge. As we reflect on the legacy of the Manhattan Project, let us strive for a future where scientific achievements are guided by a deep sense of humanity and a commitment to the well-being of all. Join us next time as we continue exploring the fascinating stories that shape our world. Thank you for watching.